With preseason finally over, the 2019-2020 NBA season is set to begin in just days. Unlike any season a lot of us has ever seen, a bunch of teams believe they have what it takes to contend for a championship, as we've seen glimpses of greatness in preseason, with James Harden already in full regular season swing, Steph Curry showing how he's about to unleash. How's it going, guys? My name's Wilson. Before we start this video, for those of you who will be in New York City next Wednesday, October 23rd at 7 p.m, I'll be talking about my NBA YouTube experience. Feel free to swing by at Cornell Tech, the closest subway stations to F train on Roosevelt Island. Food and beverages will be provided. The links on the description below for more info. Now let's get to the award predictions. Starting with the 6th man of the year, where Lou Williams is the back-to-back regaining 6th man, has 3 total, tying with Jamal Crawford for most all-time. After back-to-back seasons of averaging over 20 a game, the soon-to-be 33-year-old won't need to score that much now that Kawhi and PG's on the team, but he's still a candidate, alongside Spencer Dinwiddie of the Nets, a bucket getter, Fred VanVleet, who was remarkable in the finals and capable of nailing big shots, especially in crunch time. Bogdan Bogdanovic of the Sacramento Kings put up over 14 a game last season, an instant bucket getter off the bench. Montrezl Harrell was dominant last season, averaged over 16 and 6, starting only 5 games. Shot over 61% from the field, very strong at the rim. JJ Redick also, who will be getting buckets, with Ball and Holiday likely starting, but since Lonzo's been injury prone, Redick might start half his games. So for my prediction, I'm going with the 6'8 Harrell, since he will make his presence felt, destroying a lot of guys taller than him. An energy provider who's very efficient, will give his team an extra boost, flats out competes on both ends of the floor. If he was in the East, he'd be an all-star candidate. I predict the 25-year-old will put up 17.5 points, 8 rebounds, play about 28 minutes a game. For most improved player, last season was Pascal Siakam, who was excellent for the champion Raptors. My candidates for 2020, Markelle Fultz, who's given us glimpses of how talented he is. Marvin Bagley Jr., who was cooking after the All-Star break. If the Kings want to make the playoffs, the power forward must continue to get better and will look to prove to the world why he was the #1 prospect out of high school. The 2nd overall pick, who's been slept on, could average 20 and 10. Lonzo Ball, who hasn't lived up to expectations. As the 2nd pick, his defense makes a huge impact as he keeps improving his stroke. Having a fresh start in New Orleans, he'll dish out many assists and get many open looks. Bam Adebayo of the Miami Heat averaged 12 and 9 as a starter last season. A great defender, his offense will continue to grow. And DeJounte Murray, who reminded everybody he's officially back better than ever after missing all of last season, took the point guard spot in the 2017-18 season over Tony Parker. An excellent defensive player, made 2nd team all defense where many have already forgotten. I'm going with Murray, since DeRozan and Aldridge are aging. DeJounte will increase his scoring and will look like the best player on the Spurs at times. Will have plenty of highlights. Coach Pop will continue to run the team through him. My candidates for Coach of the Year, Mike Malone of the Denver Nuggets, who led his team to the 2nd seed a season ago. His young guys are better and will have a chance for the #1 seed. Quinn Snyder's, whose Jazz have added 2 great scorers, will remain one of the best defensive teams. For 2 seasons, Mitchell was the lone scorer, and now adding 2 others, who's put up at least 18 a game before, Utah can win in the high 50s. Alvin Gentry, with a lot to gain with tons of experience. New Orleans is good enough to win in the mid to even high 40s. And Doc Rivers, if the Clippers win 65 games. If Kawhi doesn't take load management games off, I can see Doc getting the award. Nick Nurse, who's a sleeper, if Toronto finishes as a top 6 seed without Kawhi, he has a shot of winning it. But I'll go with Mike Malone, who I believe his team will be a top 2 seed in the West, dominate in the regular season, having too many weapons, a deep bench. The Nuggets are young and will wear a lot of teams out. For Rookie of the Year, it'll be very tough for anybody to top what Luka did last season, who won it averaging 21, 8 and 6, and now with Zion expected to be out for weeks, his chances are not looking good. But even if he plays 65 games and averages close to 20 and 10, he's still a heavy candidate even if he plays 50 games. Given all the hype, John Morant, the 2nd overall pick, will put up numbers, and already the franchise player will get tons of opportunities. RJ Barrett of the Knicks will also get tons of playing time. Immediately put in the spotlight, Tyler Hero was sensational in preseason, a bucket getter, draining threes with ease, shown toughness, and Kobe White was an absolute dog, a killer, and not afraid of the moment. I'ma go with Morant, since he's been depended upon to put up big numbers and run the franchise for the Grizzlies, have crazy highlights, put up 18 points, 8 assists, have a similar rookie season to Chris Paul as the first option on his team. All the other guys have veterans who will take more shots and post better numbers. Since Zion will miss some time, Morant's the best bet. 5 candidates for Defensive Player of the Year. Rudy Gobert, the back-to-back winner, looking to capture his third and tie Dwight Howard as the only active player with 3, but Kawhi Leonard will have something to say about that. If he plays 70 plus games, he's the best perimeter defender in the league, the best of this generation. Giannis, who came in second place last season, a force to be reckoned with. Joel Embiid, if he stays healthy, plays 70 plus, he will be a top candidate. And Anthony Davis, who finished third 2 seasons ago, but since some of his teammates takes off on defense, the Lakers will give up a bunch of points. I'm going with the process. Embiid, who have Al Horford in the front line, will make his presence felt even more in the paint. Teams will be fearful of the trees in Philly. Combined with the physicality, length and size, Joel will be on a mission to destroy anybody that comes his way. Now for MVP, my top 5 candidates: Steph Curry, Giannis, James Harden, Nikola Jokic, and Joel Embiid. I didn't put LeBron, AD, Kawhi, and PG there since Steph and KD also kind of cancel each other out. The last 3 seasons with Golden State, James won't be playing much defense. Davis is injury prone, George will miss the beginning of the season, Leonard might continue with his load management, while Curry will have to go off for Golden State. If he leads them to over 52 wins, he's the favorite. Giannis, if he leads his Bucks to 60 wins again, hard not to give it to him. James Harden, who gets slept on for the award the beginning of every season, he finished at least top 2 4 of the last 5 years. Only fools will sleep on Harden. The Joker is no joke, and Embiid, if he plays at least 70 games, Philly wins near 60. Out of those 5 guys, I'm going with the Serbian Nikola Jokic, whose Nuggets will have one of the best records, the clear-cut first option, the franchise player, the team runs through him, had an amazing postseason, and now adding more weapons off the bench, he can average a triple-double if he wanted to. A dark horse candidate many are sleeping on, a top 10 player already in my opinion. He's the reason why Denver's a true contender, and will look to make history, becoming the first second-round pick in NBA history and winning the Most Valuable Player of the Year award. For my statistical predictions, Steph Curry will edge out James Harden for the scoring title. Since Golden State needs him to stay hot, he averaged over 27 with KD last season, has all the green lights to shoot. I predict he'll play more minutes, average the most points of his career at 31 a game, perhaps 32 to 33 before Clay's return, and will decrease after February. James Harden, I predict, will put up 29.8 points. If he really wants to pace himself and stay fresh for the postseason, Russell Westbrook will also take a lot of shots. Giannis at 28 a game won't play more than 34 minutes because of Coach Bud. Joel Embiid at 27.7, similar to last season, a monster who can't be stopped, and Devin Booker 27.5 points will continue to take shots on a bad team. The rebounding title, Andre Drummond again. Last season, averaged 15.6 boards. I predict it will be 15.8 this season. Who's lived in the paint, grabbing at least 13 boards every season since his second year? Hard to bet against that. Joel Embiid 13.2 boards. Rudy Gobert at 13 a game sounds about right. Karl Anthony Towns at 12.7 as the center for Minnesota, and Giannis at 12.4, similar to last season. The assist leader, Trae Young. Yes, I said it. Who have plenty of weapons in Kevin Huerter, Cam Reddish, and DeAndre Hunter from outside. John Collins inside, averaged 8.1 as a rookie in 31 minutes. I believe he'll dish out 9.5 dimes a game, will play more minutes. Chris Paul at 8.7, won't play a lot without the ball now that he's no longer with James Harden. Russell Westbrook at number 3 at 8.3, averaged over 10 a game the last 3 seasons with OKC, close to 8 a game the 2 seasons before. Nikola Jokic at number 4, 8.2 assists, averaged 7.3 a season ago. And LeBron James at number 5 at just over 8 a game. Steals leaders, I'm going with Robert Covington at 2.4, was second in the league last season at just over 2 a game. Chris Paul 2.2, Paul George 2.1, Jimmy Butler also 2.1 a game as well, and Marcus Smart at 2 a game. My block leaders, Mitchell Robinson of the Knicks at 3.1. Yes, he denied 2.4 shots in just 24 minutes a game last season. Will be fun to watch. Rudy Gobert at 2.9, Anthony Davis 2.6, Miles Turner also 2.6, and Joel Embiid 2.4. Once again, my 2019-2020 NBA award predictions: Nikola Jokic for MVP, Joel Embiid Defensive Player of the Year, Rookie of the Year John Moran, Sixth Man of the Year Montrezl Harrell, Coach of the Year Mike Malone, and Most Improved Player DeJounte Murray. Let me know what you guys think. Thank you so much for watching this video. I love all of you. See you next time.